NASCAR is America's most popular and well-known brand of motorsports. Today, the sport sanctions more than 100 events each year, drawing tens of thousands of spectators and millions of TV viewers each week. Stock car racing wasn't always this way, though. Through the decades, stock car racing has grown from a small regional sport to the high-speed, high-performance spectacle it is today. So how did this local attraction become an international phenomenon? To find out, let's take a look back at the history of NASCAR. NASCAR was founded in 1948 by a group of stock car racers and promoters. This group, led by Bill France Sr., founded a national sanctioning body to oversee and regulate the sport of stock car racing. At a meeting room in a Daytona Beach hotel, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, or NASCAR, was born. The inaugural season of what is known today as the Cup Series was run in 1949. The 8-race season would hold its first event in Charlotte, North Carolina. Red Byron would become the series' first national champion. Having a national organization to oversee the sport brought legitimacy to stock car racing. With Bill France Sr. continuing to serve as NASCAR chairman, the sport expanded, adding new tracks and events around the United States. In 1959, Bill France Sr. built the crown jewel of NASCAR circuits, Daytona International Speedway. The world center of racing serves as the home of the NASCAR season opener, the Daytona 500. In 1971, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company became the title sponsor of NASCAR's Top Series, rebranding it as the Winston Cup Series after one of their popular brands of cigarettes. Winston made the series more visible through their promotions. Along with the new sponsorship, 1970s saw a decrease in the number of events, venue changes, and the elimination of events shorter than 400 kilometers. A new point system was also introduced in 1972. This marked the beginning of the modern era of NASCAR. This point system would remain essentially unchanged until the introduction of the chase format in 2004. NASCAR's breakthrough moment came in 1979 at the Daytona 500. This will be the first race to be nationally televised live from beginning to end. Snowstorms across the east coast of the United States kept most people indoors in front of their televisions, resulting in a huge audience for the biggest race of the season. The final laps would come down to Cal Yarborough and Donnie Allison battling side by side for several laps before finally wrecking each other on the final lap.
It's all come down to this. Out of turn 2, Donnie Allison in first. Where will Cale make his move? He comes to the inside. Donnie Allison throws the block. Cale hits him. He slides. Donnie Allison slides. They hit again. They climb in the turn. They're hitting the wall. They're head on the wall. They slide down to the inside. Let's watch those third-place cars. They're out of it. Who is going to win it?
Richard Petty, who had been running a distant third, would win his 6th Daytona 500. Meanwhile, Bobby Allison had joined his brother Donnie at the crash site and began to disagree with Yarborough over the cause of the crash, leading to a fistfight on national television.
And there's a fight between Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison. The tempers overflowing. They're angry. They know they have lost.
The drama of those final laps with national coverage is credited with growing the sport's popularity more than any other event. Richard Petty already held the record for most wins in the sport before the '79 Daytona 500, which had earned him the nickname the King. Petty would collect the final win of his career 5 years later. This iconic victory, the 200th of his career, would come once again at the Daytona International Speedway. This time, in addition to the television audience, there was to be a special guest at the track. President Ronald Reagan became the first American president to attend a NASCAR event.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Though his arrival was delayed, he gave the command to start engines from his airplane and would arrive mid-race, landing just behind the backstretch of the track. The president arrived in time to watch NASCAR's king take the checkered flag.
They will come across the yellow line just about together, but Petty had the lead. A checkered flag for car number 43. Richard Petty has won the 200th race of his incomparable Grand National stock car racing career.
Been
been around this sport so long that you may not get terribly excited at the prospect of winning a race, but was there a little extra thrill in winning, knowing that the #1 fan was here today?
Well, definitely. 200 is very, very important. But under the circumstances, with all the presidents that's ever been in the United States, this is the first one that's ever showed up at a racetrack.
The 1980s would see the rise of a new group of champions. The names of Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip would dominate much of the decade. This duo would win 6 championships over 8 years on the way to becoming 2 of NASCAR's most successful drivers. Earnhardt would go on to tie Richard Petty's mark of 7 championships, and Waltrip would end his career as a 3-time champ, ranking 4th on the all-time wins list. Earnhardt and Waltrip will continue to be major players throughout the 1990s, but they would have to contend with Hendrick Motorsports' young driver, Jeff Gordon. In what would later be seen as a passing of the torch moment, Gordon will make his first start at the end of the 1992 season. This race would also be Richard Petty's final race. Despite a difficult rookie season, Jeff Gordon would become the dominant driver of the late 90s and early 2000s, capturing 4 championships between 1995 and 2001. The 2001 season would bring about more changes to the sport than perhaps any other. The season began with high hopes. A new television deal would bring NASCAR to more viewers than ever before. As part of this deal, Darrell Waltrip retired, trading in his helmet for a headset to call the season-opening Daytona 500. The event was dominated by teammates Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. As the laps counted down, it seemed a typical dramatic Daytona finish was in store. Then, on the final lap, while drafting behind his son, Dale Earnhardt Sr. was involved in a hard crash. Waltrip would go on to win the race in a car owned by Earnhardt Sr. as safety crews worked to free Earnhardt from his car. Waltrip's victory celebration would be cut short by the tragic news that his car owner, Earnhardt Sr., had suffered fatal injuries from the crash. The untimely death of one of the sport's greatest stars would forever change the sport. As the sport carried on with a renewed focus on safety, a new set of drivers began to take the stage. 2002 would see the debut of one of NASCAR's most successful drivers ever. Jimmy Johnson, a relatively unknown driver, had been selected by Jeff Gordon to drive for a new Hendrick Motorsport team. Johnson would win 3 times his rookie season. Despite his rookie successes, no one could have predicted how dominant Johnson would become. Over his first 9 seasons, Johnson collected 53 wins, 16% of the races he competed in. During that time, Johnson shattered the record for consecutive championships. Hall of Famer Cal Yarborough had held that record for more than 3 decades when Johnson tied it in 2008 with his 3rd championship trophy. But Johnson wasn't finished yet. He'd tack on 2 more championships in 2009 and 2010 for a total of 5 consecutive Cup championships. Jimmy added a 6th Cup championship to his resume in 2013 and tied Earnhardt and Petty for the most Cup championships ever by adding number 7 in 2016. Now that you have some background on the sport of stock car racing, be sure to check out the rest of NASCAR University, where we'll cover more about the technology and drivers that make NASCAR's new Gen 6 car one of the most advanced and competitive race cars in the world.